Welcome to Birmingham, capital of the Midlands, and home to the Shelby family. Now, back in the early 1900s, while most of the Shelby family were part of the Peaky Blinders, busy being gangsters, there was one cousin that shied away from a life of crime. He decided to go legit, and he opened a corner shop up for him and his family. And over the next couple of generations, the shop passed hands from father to son, from father to son, all the way into the hands of Arthur Sr., the next in a long line of Shelby shopkeepers. Now, when Arthur Sr. was young, he didn't dream about being a shopkeeper. He wanted to be a football player, and for a brief moment he was allowed to join his local team. But his dream soon came crashing around him, because his father decided there was no time for playing football. He needed him in the shop. He needed to learn this business inside out so he could pass it on to him one day. So even though the young Arthur Sr. was a very, very talented footballer, he had to make do with playing with his friends in the backyard on a Sunday afternoon, because the rest of his time was spent in the shop. But this was no open all hours scenario. No. Arthur and his father didn't see eye to eye. His father was a grumpy old man, bitter and twisted and angry. He couldn't wait for him to die so he could take over the shop and live his life free from tyranny. But he still loved his football, and Arthur Sr. was an avid Aston Villa fan. He remembers fondly being a young lad watching him lift the European Cup. He'd never felt prouder, and he swore, even though he lived in a Birmingham City supporting area, that if he ever had a son, he too would be a Villa fan. And he did have a son. He went on to marry. They had 3 boys. The youngest was John, the middle boy was Tommy, and the oldest was Arthur Jr. But tragically for Arthur and his young sons, his wife died of a terminal illness at a young age, leaving him a widow. But Arthur's sister, Polly, had too become a widow within the last couple of years. Her husband had died in a tragic accident. So the brother and sister decided to get together, to not remarry, to concentrate on the shop, and to try and raise the boys as best as they could. Now, the Shelby brothers grew up as a close-knit group. Anyone came anywhere near them and had a fight with one of them, you were fighting the other 2. They stuck together like glue. And they also had the skills their father had. Every single one of them loved to play football, and they would play football at any time possible in their backyard, but only when the father wasn't watching. Because Arthur Sr. had decided that if he couldn't follow his dreams and become a footballer, his boys were not going to follow their dreams either. They were all going to work in the shop. They were going to take over this family business one day, if they liked it or not. But living in a big terraced house with their dad and their auntie didn't stop these 3 boys dreaming. They'd play football with each other. John, being the youngest, would get put in goal. Arthur, being the dumbest, would be in defence. And then Tommy, the cleverest of the 3 brothers, he'd always be the attacker. He'd always be dribbling. He'd always be taking them on. And he'd always be scoring. Now, back in the shop, working for the father, all 3 boys helped out when they could. Young John was still at school. Arthur, being not too bright, was the delivery boy. Like many of his uncles before him, he too used to go out on a bike, delivering eggs and papers to all the locals. Tommy, on the other hand, had many dreams, and since he'd started working in the shop, business had improved by 25%. But his father saw in Tommy himself. He knew he was a great footballer like him, but the thing with Tommy, he was cleverer than him, and he hated that. Now, the Shelbys didn't have the only business on the high street. No. There was a local Glaswegian businessman, some would say gangster, by the name of Jimmy McCraven. He owned all the local bookies. He run all the nightclubs and its security. He owned the local boozer, the Garrison, and he owned all the brothels across Birmingham. But Jimmy didn't like to be looked at as a gangster, so Jimmy would do as much as he could to make him look like a pillar of the community. And his latest idea was a good one. Jimmy was going to organise a charity football match, Legends versus Locals. All the money raised would go to a local children's hospice, making him look like an angel. So he put together a team of legends and then decided to go out into the community to try and find a team of local lads that could go up against them. On the morning of the trials, Jimmy decided to pop in to the Shelby shop for some milk, and also to stick a flyer in the window to see if he could get any last minute players. Now, he had heard on the grapevine that the Shelby lads were all decent footballers, but he also knew that Arthur Sr. was a bit of a grumpy bastard. So he whispered in Tommy's ear, passed him a flyer, and said, "I'd see you later, kid." Tommy rounded up his brothers and explain the situation. The dad was going out later to a social club event, and Aunt Polly would happily look after the till. He'd been saving up his pennies, enough to buy them all boots and shin pads, and a dream to go to the trials, to make it in the local lads team, and to maybe get spotted. So armed with their new boots and shin pads, the lads went down to Bodymore training ground, and they absolutely destroyed the training. John was by far the best goalkeeper, Arthur was easily the best defender on the pitch, and Tommy was just a magician. So when it was time for the big day, all three boys had been picked for the team. All they had to do was sneak out the back door and take the risk. They knew if it went tits up, the father would be mad, but he'd get over it. But they also knew if they got spotted, they could do something magic on that pitch. There's a slim chance they could actually make it as footballers. Now, due to his various businesses, Jimmy was friends with chief scouts at all the major clubs in the area. And there was a chief scout from Birmingham, West Brom, Wolves, and of course Aston Villa sitting in the crowd with Jimmy. He had something on all of them. They'd either been in his brothels or his nightclubs, but they were there to watch the game. And what a game it was. The local lads beat the legends 1-0. Young John saved the penalty. Arthur had Ronaldinho, albeit an old Ronaldinho, in his back pocket, and Tommy lit the place on fire when he dribbled past about 15 players and scored a goal in the top corner. But what the boys didn't know was Arthur Senior was in the crowd, and when they looked over, instead of seeing an angry face, they saw a happy face. Deep down he was proud. He wanted his boys to do well. He wanted his boys to be happy, and all three of them were happy. But what would make him really happy would be if all three of them signed for their beloved Aston Villa. The trouble is, that wasn't going to happen. Young John decided to sign with West Bromwich Albion. Arthur got an amazing offer from Premier League team Wolverhampton Wanderers, one he just could not turn down. But worse was yet to come, because Tommy decided to sign with Aston Villa's arch rivals, the Blues, Birmingham City. Arthur Senior went from feeling proud to feeling absolutely destroyed. His boys had all signed for arch rivals of their beloved Aston Villa. He couldn't believe it, and he said to his lads, unless you can make a serious career out of football, you're never welcome back in our shop. So will all three boys make a career out of football? They're all different ages, some are younger than others, they're at different teams, at different levels, with different mentals. We're going to follow the Shelby boys and see, can they all play for England? Can they ever win a Premier League or a Champions League? Could any of them ever lift a World Cup? And could they ever get back into their father's good books? Could they make him proud? Well, we were going to find out in the story of the Shelby brothers. Hello, I'm Bood and welcome to the channel. Thank you as always for joining me. If you're brand new, feel free to subscribe. Go and check out all my other videos. Hopefully you enjoy them and you'll enjoy this. Hopefully all of you are going to enjoy this enough to smash the like button. Helps the video, helps the series, helps the channel, helps me, and I really appreciate it. If you want to help the channel out a little bit more, go the extra mile. You can pledge to my Patreon. You'll find a link to that down below in the description. So, the Shelby brothers. I am a bit of a Peakies fan. I do like it. I've watched it multiple times. Loads of that show is filmed around where I live and work, so it feels very familiar, even though it's set in Birmingham and I'm from Manchester. I just like it. It's brilliant. Reminds me of my nan's old stories. My nan's well dead. She'd be like 120. She's still alive. But she used to tell me old stories and it just reminds me of this. Do you know what I mean? I like it. And it's one of you guys who asked me months ago, can I do something in Birmingham with different clubs? So I thought, let's marry them up together and have a bit of fun before I jet off on my holidays and have a little bit of a break from Football Manager. I'm going to have a bit of time off. But this video, don't take it too serious. It is just a bit of fun. We're going to have a look at each of the players in a bit more detail, see what they're about, have a quick chat about them, and then we're going to have a look at their careers and see, could they carve out a football career? I hope so. I like to think so. Hopefully one of them's had a great career anyway. So, as always, thanks for taking the time out of your busy day. Let's not waste any more of that time, and let's get stuck right into this video. We're going to start right here with their agent, Jimmy, who is a bit of a dodgy businessman, as you know. He just saw a great opportunity to earn a few quid and decided to go for it. So he signed them all up, become an agent. Will he stay their agent? We'll have to wait and see. Will he get more clients? We'll have to wait and see. But he is a bit of a bastard. He's in it for himself. He wants to make a fortune, so he will lord his players out there to other clubs to try and get big bucks. And he's very impatient, so just do what he says, or you'll probably find yourself at the bottom of a canal. We're going to start here looking at the oldest brother, Arthur Shelby, who's 20 years old, so he's got less time to improve. You know, he's got 3 or 4 years maybe to get a bit better, but he can still do that. He could. and he's still a decent, okay player. Now his maximum potential is 155. So he's got 5 more potential than my last video with the average Joe. But the average Joe, he became a great player with a 150 maximum potential because of his mentals, and he was 16. On Arthur's side, Arthur's a bit of a psycho, and he's older. So will he become a good player? We'll have to wait and see. I'm not saying he will. Maybe. He's obviously aggressive. He can head. Likes to nut people. Great tackler. Fairly strong. Works his tits off. Not really much of a leader. He's about halfway. He's more of a general. He would like to be told what to do. But he's got a great chance of still making it and having a good career. Looking at his information, he's a perfectionist. He's a Villa fan. I will say this now. I know in the TV show they're not Villa fans, but in my show they're Villa fans. Part of the story. Jimmy's his agent. He's outspoken, volatile, and confrontational, so he's a bit of a nutter. He loves his brothers, and he's a bit Irish because of his gypsy roots, but he is English, declared for England. So will he get to play for England? Next, we're going to look at the youngest brother, who's 16. It's John Shelby. He's a goalkeeper. Now, his maximum potential is 10 more. His max is 165, so he's got a great chance of becoming a very good Prem goalkeeper, and he's got a good base to do that as well. Like I said, he's got years as well. I mean, goalkeepers develop late, so he has got years and years to make it. He's probably got a really good chance of making it. Now, he's a bit aggressive, you know, and he's not really a leader. He really does do what his older brothers say, but he is definitely a sheep, and will just follow the flock. But he's not a psycho as his brothers. He's a bit more laid back and chilled. So he's a promising goalkeeper. He's fairly determined. I mean, having your older brothers do everything for you is kind of taking away a bit of his grit. But, you know, he's focused. He's a Villa fan too. Jimmy's his agent, media friendly. So he's a bit, you know, he likes it. He likes it. He's got a smile on his face, this kid. And not all his nationalities. Everything's exactly the same as his brothers. Last but not least, we've got the middle brother, 18-year-old Tommy Shelby, attacking central midfielder. His max potential is 175, which is pretty good. So he's got a very good chance of becoming an elite player. Maybe not world class, but elite. And he's got great mentals, Tommy. He's fairly aggressive. Not as bad as Arthur, but he's a bit of a psycho. He's very brave. Concentrates. He's a leader. He's determined. He's got vision and technique. This kid is focused. If anyone can make it, it's going to be Tommy. And if anyone can make it at the very top, it will definitely be Tommy Shelby. He is a perfectionist, a Villa fan, and he's more like Arthur, very volatile, confrontational, bit of a psycho. But I've changed a few things. I've had great players not make it because of there being a bit of a nutter. I'm hoping Tommy might make it and be a nutter, because I think that's awesome. If it happens, it'd be awesome. Loves his brothers, and again, part Irish because of his gypsy roots, but yeah, probably got a great chance playing for England, I'd say, because he looks pretty good, doesn't he? So we, of course, have Arthur Shelby, the oldest. He's in the Premier League. I don't know if that's going to help him or not. We'll find out. But it'd be good if he could get in this team, and I like that formation. Then we, of course, have young John Shelby, who's at West Brom. We've got a great chance of getting promoted. The second favourite. It's his first season. He's got a great chance of getting in that team, I think. If you've got Annette Johnston, I reckon he'll get in that team pretty quick. And then you could say the best players at the worst team, Birmingham, who are predicted this first year to finish 18th. I've got Mr. Shelby in their team, and he's in their team. They've got him in central midfield there. Wasted. Get him up. Get him in that central role. He's a beast. I don't think he's going to stay there long, but hopefully he can build up his reputation enough that Birmingham can cash in one day. So will all three boys stay where they are for a while? Will they all leave? Will some have better careers than the others? It's going to be interesting, isn't it? I love them all to play for England. What I've done is holiday 10 years into the future, and then holidayed again. I just waited for them all to retire and try to avoid looking at anything, because I like to share that together. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump 10 years, and then we're going to look at their end of the careers. And that rhymed, eh? I don't know if bloody Jimmy McCavern's going to last that long. He'll be in his 80s, won't he? Bloody hell. I don't know if they're all going to stay with him. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. The values at the minute are low, but they will definitely rise. Tommy's will. I'm excited to see what Tommy can do, because like I said, I've had players like this who have had better maximum potentials go off the boil and not reach it because of a psycho. I want Tommy to make it. Welcome to the year 2018. It is 10 years into the future. 25th of June, exactly 10 years. And we find ourselves here with Arthur Shelby, who's at Preston. Looks like he's been at another club. You'll see that for yourself. We'll have a look in a bit more detail. And he looks all right. I mean, he's only worth 230 grand. He'd be great. Obviously in the Championship, he'd be great in Scotland and places like that. He looks really good. His heading's gone down and his tackling's still pretty decent. He's still a nutter. He's never played for England. He's now 30 years old. But he's carved out a bit of a career. What kind of career? Well, he was at Wolves winning the Premier League. Had a 4-year deal. Never played a game. Just sat in the reserves. He's got a couple of reds, didn't he? So, only averaging 1 or 2 a year. That's not too bad. I thought it'd be worse than that. Then he got his big money move. His 5k money move to Oldham, where he played the entire season. First proper football. Then he got promoted. And he played again. And then they got promoted again. And his game time came down. So I don't know, has it hit his ceiling? Because he's ended up going to Preston for £63,000. He's better than that. His ability is better than 63 grand, surely. And he's been at Preston now for the last 4 years playing League One football. I am surprised by that because I think he's good enough. I don't know how to play at a better team than Preston. No offence, Preston. But that's where he is. And his last 2 years at least, you know, he's putting in some games. And a defensive midfielder's never blow you away with average ratings. That doesn't necessarily, just because he's not got 7s every year doesn't mean he's a crap player. I think he's a good player. One person who maybe didn't think he was a good player, or maybe it was Arthur himself, probably Arthur himself, has decided he didn't want his agent. He's got a new agent, Tony Glover, and Jimmy's gone. Maybe Jimmy's dead. We'll have to find out. He's doing his coaching badges. Come on, Arthur. National C licence. Considering the law of higher profile league, like the Premier League, wants to win a trophy. Mate, I think you've wasted the prime years of your life in League One with Preston. Maybe he was hoping he could take them up. But hopefully he moves on and has a good year or two somewhere else. So he's got a couple of medals. Obviously a Sky League, Bet League 2 medal, Sky Bet League 1 medal, and he got a runners-up medal, Checker Trade trophy last year with Preston. So, you know, he's won summit. This is a bit of a Preston favourite, isn't he? He got a couple of best 11s of Oldham, but, you know, overall best, got into the overall Preston best 11. That's pretty cool. That's pretty sweet. I like it. I don't know, I feel like Arthur, I know he was older, and he still had a decent career, especially after his Wolves nightmare. But I just feel like he's missed a trick, not maybe moving on somewhere and going somewhere, maybe another country where he would have been playing European football. But fair play to Arthur, he's actually club captain, which I think is pretty sweet. Now, he's not a leader like Tommy, but he's definitely a number 2 kind of guy. But in Preston, he's a top player, isn't he? Let's move on to the young brother. And it's 26-year-old John Shelby, who has found himself at Liverpool and playing games, although he looks like he lets a goal in every game. And he's all right. I mean, his handling's 15, reflex is 16. I'm surprised he's played that many games, but he's worth 19 million. He's got 3 caps for England. He's 73 grand a week. Ain't too shabby. You don't have to work in the shop anymore and those kind of wages. And he's won stuff. Looks like he's won a few things. Liverpool. I thought he could get a Premier League, but I'm surprised he's at a top club. So he spent 3 years at West Brom. Didn't get in the team much in his first year. Got a bit more game time his second year. It looks like in his last year he was the number 1. Then he signed for Liverpool in 2022 for 15 million. Not too bad. And he kind of looks like he's not the number 1. I mean, he's been there long enough to have played a lot of games. And more of a backup, which, you know, 15 games a season looks like a backup kind of thing, doesn't it? Playing maybe in your cup games and so on, but can't grumble. Now, we've still got Jimmy as his agent. We'll have a look at Jimmy in a bit. He's a Villa supporter, obviously, but he likes West Brom too. Is that allowed in the Midlands? I don't think they'd let you do that. He likes Javier Garcia, his former manager. Wants to play in the Premier League. He does. He's 26, goalkeeper sometimes. Wait till he gets to his 30s. That's when we'll have a real good judge of John Shelby. Let's have a look at some of the things he's won and potentially lost-ish. But he's won the England Under-19s Championship. Got promoted to West Brom. Won the Community Shield to Liverpool. Runners up a few times. Runners up in the Champions League. Runners up in the Carabao Cup, but he's won that. Won the Nations League with England. Runners up in the Carabao Cup again. 3rd place in the World Cup, so he went to a World Cup. That's sweet. And he's just won the Nations League with England. I'm guessing he's got to be England's backup. Yeah, Jordan Pickford's number 1, but he's definitely a backup, or one of 3 keepers anyway. I think he looks like you won't be able to see him, I don't think, because of my head. Shelby's the goalkeeper at the bottom. But, you know, England's 3rd best keeper is nothing to you know, turn your nose up at. Can we see his brother? No, you can't. I can. When it's come to awards, he's won a lot. He's won a lot of awards. What I usually tend to do with stuff like this is, especially when they're half decent and they win a lot of stuff, is at the very end, I'll go on the biography page if you want to see what awards he won. But I mean, he too's carved out a decent career, and he's only 26. Could get better. On to Tommy Shelby, the 28-year-old. He's in his peak years of football. I think he's turned into a good player. His mentals are great. His technicals have got a little bit better. His passing technique's good, can't grumble. Physicals aren't amazing, but he's not the fittest lad. He likes to smoke a lot, which doesn't help him out, to be fair. But his mentals always get Tommy through anything. His mentals, he's very, very clever. And he's become an elite attacking midfielder. And he's a psycho. And that's what I wanted to see if I could actually do that. Because every time I make a great player and make him a psycho, they always end up shit. So Tommy's alright. He's at Spurs. Great club. So of course he signed for his dad's favourite team's rival, Birmingham City. And played straight away. Played 3 seasons, all in the Championship. Couldn't get him up on his own. And ended up leaving to go to Crystal Palace in a £16.5 million move in 2021. Stayed at Palace for 2 seasons. First season, couldn't get in the team. Right. Second season did, and Spurs saw enough in him to spend £36 million on him. And again, it looks like he's not first teamer. He's starting to play a few more games, but when he plays well. Competition-wise, yeah, he's done all right. He's done all right, hasn't he? Again, he looks like he's played for England. Didn't do anything with his previous clubs until he got to Spurs, where he's won an FA Cup. He's won the Premier League with Spurs. He's won the Champions League with Spurs. Is that because of him? That'd be awesome if it was. Hey, Community Shield winner, Super Cup winner, World Champion. Lost the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, which is a bit disappointing. Nations League, and he's lost the FA Cup again. But that year there, around here, 24-25, the kid was unstoppable. Again, with his awards, look, I mean, wow. I think we'll have a good overview of Tommy Shelby's awards and his medals at the end. And Jimmy, the old dodgy bastard, he's got a lovely face, hasn't he, Jim? Hey, it's my friend Brian, who were made old and put a wig on. And I put a beard on him. And a fake smile. But it is my friend. It's my friend Brian. If you're watching, Bri, I love you, mate. Thank you very much. But here's Jimmy. And he's actually Scottish and from Glasgow. Like Jimmy McCavern is in the TV show. I like that authenticity, you see. Anyway, here is Jimmy, 72 years old. He's still going. He's got no other clients apart from Tommy and John. But they're pretty big time now. I mean, Tommy's worth 66 million. Do you know what I mean? Probably making him a shit ton of money. This is Premier League history, and I think it looks quite fun, doesn't it? You want it to be like this. United won a couple, Arsenal, City, Spurs, City, United got the last couple. In fact, Spurs have got one. They've won a title. I am buzzing for Tommy Shelby. Well done, mate. And a Champions League as well. I mean, we've been kind of dominant. Well, England has been kind of dominating it a bit, haven't they? City got one. Paris have got 3. Never happening that. But yeah, United got one. Then it was Spurs. And then Arsenal finally got their hands on one. If you're a Gunners fan, sigh relief. So what we're going to do is we're going to go forward now to the end of everyone's career and just see what kind of career they had. And like you maybe kind of guess, the older they are, the quicker they retire. So we're going to jump forward a few years and check out Arthur Shelby. Well, here we are, and it's 2033. Arthur is 35 years old and he's just retired. After Preston, he played for another couple of clubs. You might be able to read that very quickly over there. But he's now a coach. He's not a very good coach. He's still only got his C licence. Probably just gave up, didn't he? Let's see what he got up to. Well, then he finally left Preston after many years. I mean, he was there for, what, 6 seasons, I think. Played loads for him. Probably became an absolute legend at Preston. And then decided to move on a free to Australia, mate, to Melbourne. Beautiful place. And played for Melbourne City, who I think have got a link with Manchester City. I'm pretty sure they have. Or they're owned by Manchester City. The owners of Manchester City. I think they're playing at Etihad Stadium as well. I'm pretty sure they do. I think. You know, he's played there for a bit. Probably should have gone to America. But he fancied Australia. Why not? And then he went to Israel on a free and played for Tel Aviv. Full season in Israel. That's awesome. If you want to check out what he did, you can pause it, have a read of his biography. He did alright. He never played for England, which is disappointing. Won a couple of medals in his early days. Now, he might have won medals in Australia and Tel Aviv, Israel. But I didn't have them leagues running. So you don't get the information from that. But I reckon he probably did all right. Let's imagine he won an Israeli title, eh? Arthur Shelby, eh? 20 years old, just used to stack shelves in his dad's shop. Somehow managed to carve out a very respectable career, a career I would die for. Exactly 1 year later, Tommy's retired. At the age of 33, some say too early, but his fitness got him in the end. The fags caught up with him, he couldn't run at all to save his life, so he's had to go early. I think a lot of people thought he might go to America or even Australia like his brother and play for another couple of years, but he's not. Obviously his biography's there, I can't look at his playing history now, but we'll see there he signed for Manchester United and played for them for over 100 games, scoring a load of goals as well, which is pretty cool. You can read his biography there and see what he's won yourself. Oh wait, joined Manchester United for 100, so he joined Spurs for 36 million and then they sold him for 136 million, so they made 100 million profit on him. Wow, that's awesome, isn't it? Did he win the Premier League with him as well? Fair play. He's won a lot. He's had a great career, better than I thought because he's a psycho. And even though he had 175 max potential, I thought he still might go tits up for him. Like I've had players out there who have made 195 max, not make it because of a nut job. But it didn't stop him. Did not stop him at all. Fair play, Tommy. Well proud of you. Hey, won a lot, didn't he? Really won a lot. Next up, we've got John Shelby. Now, John Shelby did his dad proud. It's always the apple of his father's eye. And he's done his dad proud because John signed for Villa and had a couple of seasons out, maybe even 3 years at Aston Villa. That's awesome. Letting more goals in games he played, which ain't great. He let a lot of goals in, really, didn't he? But you know what? What a career. Started off at West Brom, ends up at Liverpool like as a second keeper. He's played for England. And he got 62 caps eventually. Went to Villa, and how the hell did he end up at City? And not only that, he ended up at City and played there for what, 7 or 8 years, playing over 151 games. I mean, he won a ton. How did he end up at Aston Villa? He signed for 22.5 million for Villa. Went to City for 39 million. I mean, he won the World Club Cup, so he won the Champions League 4 times with Man City. Won the Premier League as well. Well done, man. That's pretty sweet. But he had the best chance in a way. His max was 165, which is still very good. It's not world class. And he wasn't too much of a psycho, and he was 16, so he had a lot of time to become great. And what a career. Got to play at his favourite club as well as Man City and Liverpool. So was he at City for a couple of years, wasn't he, while his brother was at United? That'd have been fun. Hey, Manchester derbies. Oh, I like how that turned out. That's great. So there we go. That is the end of the Shelby Brothers. Like I said, it's just a bit of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the story and following these 3 guys' careers. I definitely did. It was great to look into and delve into. So if you did enjoy it, make sure you smash the like button. If you're new, feel free to subscribe. Be an absolute gentleman. I'm going to chill out right now. Stay here in the garrison. See the bar behind me. Have a cheeky pint of Boods Ale and Stout. But if you notice the poster, check it out. So I'm going to have a pint of ale. I do like that. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day. And if you are a regular subscriber, this is going to be the last video for a while because I'm going on my holidays. Probably maybe 1 or 2 weeks it won't be a video. And the next video might be the Q&A. And I've done a bit of an urban explore, nothing to do with Football Manager. I'm going to be sticking that on my channel just for me and my friend. So if you're bored, you might want to watch that. Me and my mate go on an adventure. We actually go underground into a chamber, under a tunnel, under a motorway. I loved it. Best day out I've had in ages. Maybe a bit too over it, but I did love it. So just check out for all them. I'm going to do one more rebuild when I get back as well, with a team in the Premier League who some people say the Volcano doesn't work with. I'm going to try and prove them wrong. So I'm going to do one more rebuild before FM20 and then try and concentrate on my new content. But yeah, thank you. Hopefully you're going to stick with the channel. Thank you as always for subscribing, supporting me. I really do appreciate it. And thanks for all the questions from your Q&A, you bunch of legends. I'll see you later.